Salute wrestling friends and welcome to the Good Red Wrestling channel, also known as Figure 4 TV. Now today we got a follow-up video between the beef between Alexis Letty and Cora Jade. Cora Jade, she recently went on TMZ Inside the Ropes podcast and she broke her silence. She originally posted on her Twitter account a response, but now she had a few words. So let's get into that, guys. Check out the intro and when we come back, we break this thing down. Salute and welcome back, good brads. So now when we first originally reported on this story, I told you guys that it's looking like NXT locker room, the women's locker room that is a high school where you got the locker room divided by die-hard wrestling fans, fangirls, and you have models. You have girls that they're just looking for a check, while we also have girls that want to be professional wrestlers. So that's where the divide is coming in at. And it looks to me with this situation that Cora Jade was trying to be the locker room leader. You know what I mean? Granted, nobody asked her to do that, but she was trying to step up and become the locker room leader. And in the process, she rubbed one of those model girls, one of those girls that don't really care too much for wrestling. Because I did point out in our last video that we did how Alexis, she didn't have no care for wrestling. She could care less about the professional business of wrestling, guys.
How does somebody who doesn't know anything about wrestling get involved in the WWE?
I had honestly very, very little respect for pro wrestlers. And I was like, oh no, these people are risking their lives for people's entertainment. They're having to memorize lines after getting concussed.
And I can see how that would rub Cora Jade wrong, being that Cora Jade started her wrestling journey at 14 years old, guys. And it's a lot of guys, it's a lot of women and men in professional wrestling who take it absolutely serious. This is their livelihood, guys. So let's get into what Cora Jade had to say on the TMZ Inside the Ropes podcast, guys.
A former wrestler, Alexis Letty, against you. You came on social media. She said that you had bullied her at some point, made all these allegations against you. You came out, you responded, you said this is the one and only time I'm going to speak about this.
Yeah.
We did want to give you at least the opportunity to bring this up, clear the air in person here and defend yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, Leah, like you said, I said what I had to say. So if you want to read it, I'll go on my Twitter. I'm not going to get into it too much here because it's not worth it to me. Somebody like that, in my opinion, you're 2.5 years later, you're reaching for something and saying my name in interviews, and that's the only time you've ever gotten any sort of relevancy, and whatever got any relevancy is off of my name. So I'm not going to give you a single ounce more of it. I said what I needed to say, and honestly, I didn't even finish watching the video. I watched half of it, and then I sent it to my lawyer, so it's getting handled because you don't have to like me, but one thing you're not going to do is lie on my name. Sure. That's absolutely ridiculous, and I think that a lot of people don't like people who are very just blunt and don't take shit and call it how it is, and that's just the type of person I am. And I love wrestling so much that I can admit I get very protective of it sometimes. Like I came into wrestling and I grew up with the mindset. I remember coming into WWE or like being a kid and thinking I needed to know every single fact about wrestling, or like someone was going to quiz me if I ever got hired, and then if I didn't know the answer, I was going to get fired. Like, I loved wrestling so much, and I understand it's different now. I understand the landscape has changed, and not everyone is going to be a diehard wrestling fan just because they got the job. I understand that, and it used to really bother me, but it's not my hill to die on, and I understand that's just kind of the nature of how it is. But if you're blatantly disrespectful, I'm not going to respect you, and I'm not going to be mean to anybody, but I'm going to tell you I don't like you and I don't respect you. And if you think that that's bullying, then that's okay. But, it is how it is. And again, it goes back to the fact that I don't care what everyone else on Twitter has to say, because I know everybody that was there and saw it and also talked to me about it. And they all were also texting me about it after all that came out.
So stop it right there. Now, Cora, did she lie? She did not lie. You just admitted that you told her to take down the post. And she said you told her to take down the post. Now, the part that you don't like is that she didn't take down the post. But technically, she did not lie on you, and she did not slander your name.
What do you think of Roxanne Perez?
Okay, everybody thinks I hate her. I don't. She actually helped me with a few of my moves, and I think she's a really sweet girl. I think. No, but she was friends with this girl named Cora Jade who was really mean when I was there and was one of the main bullies that I had to deal with.
Not on script, just in
No,
the
in
real
life. I was like so confused what was going on. I was like, why do we have beef? It's because one time, it's because she texted me and told me to do something, and I told her I wasn't going to do that respectfully. And
What was it? What did she ask you to do?
She asked me to take down a TikTok, and I was like, no.
What was a TikTok?
It was like, this is what I did at work today. And she's like, you're exposing the whole industry. And I wasn't. I did not give away anything kayfabe. I was just like, this is a fight. You know, we were like getting ready for the fight and planning out like what we were doing. But I wasn't saying I was planning out with my competition. And also, like you said, we're not stupid. We know that we collaborate with each other. Anyways, she was butthurt that like she couldn't control me. And so then she wanted to like.
Did she have any right to control you then?
Slander. No. Why?
Like she was your boss or
no, she was my colleague. Like she'd been there longer than me, of course, and like, but there was no reason why I would respect her because she didn't do anything to be respected.
You know, it's just like I'm not gonna keep giving it. You know, it is what it is. The truth always prevails, and I know the type of person that I am and the values that I have. And I remember when I came into Black and Gold, I had locker room leaders like Raquel, Dakota Kai, Ember Moon, like these girls that I looked up to who cared about wrestling so much, and they were leaders, and they made sure that the unspoken rules, you know, the respect of wrestling and, you know, the things that you do in the locker room behind the scenes and stuff like that, they all made sure that that was done. And then when they kind of went up, no one else was really left. It was like me, Lash Legend, Indy, JC, and like Roxy were kind of like the girls who had been wrestling the longest, and I might be missing a few others, but like we're kind of like the ones that were. And I remember like me, JC, Roxy, and Indy, we were all so close, and we kind of had the same story. We were just indie fans who came came into wrestling because we were fans of WWE, and we kind of had the same story, so we all just bonded, and we all kind of had the same story, and we would say like, we don't want this place to fall apart. Like we want to continue the respect and, you know, the wrestling etiquette and the wrestling love and respect, all that type of stuff that the people before us did. And it just felt like that was slowly getting lost. And it broke my heart, honestly. Like all of us would talk about it all the time. And it was never from a place of like, you're doing things wrong. It was like, we just wanted to keep the love of wrestling. And, you know, I saw something of The Undertaker the other day, which is someone I've been a fan of forever and have so much respect and admiration for.
Me too.
And have been around. And I saw him say something. Don't quote me. I don't want to butcher exactly what he said, but something along the lines of, he goes backstage at NXT, and everyone is sitting around making TikToks and doing stuff on their phone instead of watching and learning from the matches.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is what I've been saying for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's only after he says it are people like, yeah, he's right. And I'm like, yeah, because it's The Undertaker. Of course he's right. But I also think that.
Yeah,
and
The Undertaker gets criticized sometimes too for saying that.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's like, it's just, when I saw him say that, I just felt so validated because I was like, thank you. Like somebody else sees what I and like my friends and everyone we're just seeing, and like, it just broke our heart because we're all wrestling fans. You know, it got to the point where it's not my hill to die on anymore. It's not my thing to care about anymore. It's just not my place anymore. And it just got, I throw my hands up. It is what it is.
Well, if you must know, I mean, everybody's with you. The majority of the WWE universe, everybody is on your side here.
Okay, cool.
At least I
No,
am.
trust me. Yes.
Because I genuinely don't read anything anymore because I can't. And that took a lot for me to get there because I used to be somebody who would vanity search myself after every single segment I've ever had.
Yeah, and I can play into that anxiety. It can play in that voice
Even
in your
if you
head.
think it's not, subconsciously it is. So I'll post, I'll like see what my friends post or what my friends say, and I don't look at anything else.
The fact that you tried to help her, did that bother you more?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but
I don't normally agree with Cora Jade, but I got to agree with her on this one. And I pointed out how Letty, she did not care about pro wrestling, bro. And I can see her in the back being disrespectful. You got to remember, her gimmick was a social media influencer. So social media influencers run to social media with everything. And in this business of professional wrestling, where it's a secret society, all we ask is trust, that's not gonna work. That's not going to work, guys. But this is where also sometimes you got to mind your business. Sometimes you got to mind your business. Locker room leadership is earned. It's not something you can just pick up and be like, I want to be the locker room leader, so I'm going to be the locker room leader. Your talent, your attitude, your swag gotta include all of those things that make people want to follow you. You can't just make yourself a leader when no followers want to follow you. You know what I mean? This is why you can't just make yourself a locker room leader. Your talent got to speak for itself. Alexis didn't want to listen to Cora Jade. She didn't deem Cora Jade as a locker room leader, so therefore she took what Cora Jade said and just threw the shit out. Even though Cora was right. Cora Jade was right. Now, was Cora Jade picking at the girl? Because I know some girls that like to use the weak girls and cloud up on the weak girls. You know, this is where the school come in. This is where that schoolyard mentality come in. You know what I mean? Where they group up and then they bully the weaker girl. You know what I mean? Everybody feels a way about the particular female, and instead of one person addressing her, or instead of ignoring her, you'll get that one girl in the group that want to be big and bad and address the girl, and that's where the problems come in at. So I think Cora Jade should have fell back, minded her business. The girl didn't want her to tweet her about anything that she did, and she have a right for that. Like, at the end of the day, Cora, you not nobody boss. You is a wrestler. You was a wrestler, and I don't see how you would have deemed yourself as the locker room leader when you was injured for the most part. You was injured, Cora, and I get it. Cora is a youngin'. Cora 24 years old, so she got a lot of wrestling ahead of her if that's what she chooses to do. But I also want you guys to watch this full interview. If you get a chance, go back and watch this full TMZ Inside the Ropes interview so you can see Cora Jade is fighting a lot of demons, guys. Cora Jade is suffering from that mental health that a lot of our females in today's society is suffering from, because somebody swooped in and told these girls that they could be career women and mothers all at the same time. And now they got these women adding so much onto their plate, trying to be a man, trying to do what the men do. And honestly, God didn't create women and men to be the same. But, you know what I mean, we let the women do what they want to do. That's the biggest issue we have in our society now. Everybody think they can get to do whatever it is they want to do. But check out that intro. Check out that interview, guys. You're going to see Cora Jade. She shines some light on her mental health and how she suffered from bad anxiety. And it's nasty work out there, bro. She also talked about her OnlyFans and why she chose to go that route. And I told you, if girls do the right thing, if women do the right thing with their money, when they're getting to the bag, they wouldn't need to use a safety net like OnlyFans to keep the money rolling in. All right, guys, that's enough rambling for me today. Let's go to the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel about Cora Jade response. And another thing, do you see how some people handle controversy? They sue. They don't go jumping in the ring, beating on somebody. I mean, they don't go putting their hands on somebody. When you are wrong in today's world, especially with this new internet era, sue. Cora Jade is right on that. Now I'm 100% agreeing with her on that. You ain't got to get all crazy. You ain't got to come all out of pocket. If Shorty's slandering your name, sue her. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that in the comment section, guys. Like, share, and if you're new over here, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.
Not everyone wants help if you don't love and care for the sport that you're in, and that's okay.
Well, plus we see this time and time again. People who have nothing else to talk about, they come out and then they find a name that they can find traction on, and this is
Exactly.
not just a unique situation. It
Exactly.
happens all the time.
And it
Here at
just-
TMZ, we see it all the time.
Exactly. And it just pointed to another thing. It's like, I'm taking a break right now, and it just came. I remember
I know you can't even take a break.
Yeah.
I was like, the reason I even saw it was because I saw that Roxy had just done an interview, and I wanted to watch it. So I looked up Roxanne Perez, and then that was the first
That's what
clip.
popped up?
It was in like a different language, so I couldn't read what it said, but it said like something, and it said Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, and I clicked the clip, and
Oh,
it was that
God.
clip. And I didn't even finish watching it. I closed the clip, sent it to my lawyer, and it is what it is, because you
Let him
can't
handle it.
You can't lie
got
publicly
it.
on people's names when things aren't true. So the truth prevails. And I tweeted, or I posted, I'm rich with a great lawyer. Remember that? So remember
great.
that.
Well, yeah, we did not want to spend too much time on it. Thank you for clearing that
Yeah,
up.
thank you.
Yeah,
And,
of course.
we-
Thank you for not like pushing and you guys were, like.
This is a wreck. He's moving like an uncaged animal.
No lie, he's wild in there.